Have you ever felt a truth in your heart that your mind struggles to accept? A quiet pull that no logic can explain, yet refuses to go away. You're not imagining it. You're not overthinking. You're awakening. And in that awakening, you've likely questioned why nothing big seems to happen, even when your soul tells you something powerful is near. No text, no dream, just silence. And in that silence, doubt creeps in. Is this still real? Have I missed the sign? Am I still on the path, or walking in circles? In today's video, we're not here to feed illusions or offer dramatic signs. We're here to reveal the truth beneath the quiet. The subtle confirmations your soul has always known, but your human eyes may have overlooked. These are not the signs that shout, but the signs that hum softly through your body, your dreams, your emotions. We'll help you understand the secret language of soul alignment, the small energetic shifts, the hidden synchronicities, the feeling in your chest that isn't anxiety, but divine memory awakening. By the end of this video, your heart will no longer question what it already knows. You'll stop waiting for loud answers and start recognizing the sacred whispers that have been with you all along. You'll understand that the truest signs of union are not seen, they're felt. And in that understanding, peace will return, faith will root, and you'll walk forward not with uncertainty, but with soul-deep clarity. Because you are not lost, you are being led. This isn't just another message, it's a mirror. One that reflects the part of you that's already in alignment, already on the edge of something sacred. So stay with us, listen closely, and let yourself remember. If you've ever asked for a sign, this is your answer. Quiet, soft, and undeniable. Number 1. Peace with the past. The alchemy of grace. One of the most profound yet understated signs that you are approaching union is the quiet, unwavering peace that begins to settle within your soul. It's not loud. It doesn't announce itself with fireworks or breakthroughs. Instead, it arrives like a whisper, soft, steady, and deeply rooted in grace. There was once a time when simply thinking of their absence sent waves of sorrow through your entire being. You remember those endless nights filled with unanswered prayers, the heavy mornings when hope felt like a burden, and the silence that wrapped around your chest like armor you never asked to wear. You carried their memory like an open wound, aching to rewrite the past, longing to undo what was done. But now, something within you has changed. Today, when you revisit those moments, you no longer do so with pain or resentment. Instead, you feel a surprising tenderness. What once felt like a tragic ending now reveals itself as a sacred beginning. You no longer see separation as a cruel detour. It becomes a sacred pause, a divine orchestration. You understand, perhaps for the first time, that everything unfolded exactly as it needed to. The break wasn't a punishment. It was a sacred design, a spiritual detox, a necessary return to yourself. In losing them, you found something far greater, your truth. And from this place of deeper awareness, forgiveness begins to rise. Not as an obligation, not as an act of will, but as a gentle, effortless bloom of your evolution. You don't have to force it. You don't need to mentally justify their actions or minimize your pain. Instead, you begin to see the wounded child behind their choices, the fear behind their silence. And in that vision, you recognize your own. So you stop demanding explanations. You stop needing closure like a final chapter. Instead, you offer compassion, not because they asked for it, but because your heart has expanded beyond the need to hold grudges. This is not forgetting. This is not excusing. This is alchemy. This is grace. Grace is not weakness. It is frequency. It is the vibration of love unshaken by time, distance, or pain. Union does not come as a reward for how much you've suffered. It arrives as a mirror of the love you have become. Because only when you bless the journey, including its broken chapters, do you rise into the frequency where soul meets soul again. Not in desperation, but in divine alignment. That, beloved, is when reunion becomes inevitable. If this message touched something deep within you, if you felt a flicker of recognition, a quiet nod of your soul, know that you're not alone on this journey. Every step you've taken, every tear, every moment of surrender has led you here, to this sacred space of peace and remembrance. Before we move forward, take a moment to honor how far you've come. If you feel called, share your reflections in the comments below. What part of your past are you beginning to see through the lens of grace? Or simply type, "I bless the journey that brought me back to myself." And if this resonates, don't forget to like the video. It helps us reach more souls who need this light. Let's continue walking this path together, one breath, one blessing at a time. Number 2. The body relaxes, from defense to divine ease. There is a moment on this journey, so subtle, so tender, that many overlook it. And yet, it is one of the most sacred signs that union is drawing near. Your body begins to let go, not out of indifference, not because you've given up, but because something deep within you has shifted. Once upon a time, just hearing their name or seeing their face sent your nervous system into overdrive. Your chest tightened, your breath caught, your stomach turned in knots. You were in a constant state of alertness, bracing yourself for either heartbreak or hope, desperately scanning the silence for a sign that they still remembered, still cared, still loved. But now, softly, quietly, your body exhales. You catch yourself looking at old photos, and instead of pain, there's a sense of peace. The ringtone you once feared no longer startles you. Your shoulders, once locked in tension, drop an inch lower. Your jaw no longer aches from the silent pressure of unshed words. Your breath deepens, not as a result of conscious effort or spiritual practice, but as a natural rhythm returning. Your nervous system is no longer in fight or flight. It's remembering safety, and this time, that safety isn't coming from them. It's coming from you. This is not disconnection. It is not detachment. It is integration. It is the miracle of no longer depending on external validation for internal stability. You are no longer waiting for their text to feel seen, their apology to feel free, their affection to feel worthy. You've stopped outsourcing peace. You've made your body a temple for love, not one that clings, but one that receives. Not a heart that begs, but a heart that radiates. This transformation is not a small one. It is spiritual. Because union is not just two people colliding, it is two energy fields harmonizing. And when your body softens, when your breath flows with ease, when your presence becomes rooted in calm rather than chaos, it signals something profound. You are no longer merely surviving love. You are embodying it. And through that embodiment, you become the magnetic force that draws divine love home, not through effort, but through alignment. You are no longer the seeker. You are the sanctuary. Number 3. The unknown feels safe. Surrender becomes wisdom. There was a time when the unknown felt like a threat, an unbearable silence that echoed through your soul. You found yourself haunted by the endless questions. When will it happen? Will it ever happen? What are they thinking? You begged the universe for signs, shuffled card decks until your fingers ached, consumed every reading, every message, every clue that might ease your anxiety. You needed answers. You needed control. Because uncertainty felt like abandonment and silence felt like rejection. But something has shifted within you. Slowly, gently, you've released your grip on the steering wheel of destiny. You've stopped trying to force the future into form. And in that letting go, a quiet and sacred curiosity begins to grow. Instead of clinging to how and when, you begin to rest in what is. This is not denial. It is not passivity. It is not spiritual bypassing. This is surrender in its highest form. This is embodied wisdom, the kind that only blooms after you've danced through the fire of uncertainty and survived. Now, you no longer chase reassurance. You don't need the constant confirmation from the outside world. You've become your own sanctuary. Your calm no longer depends on the appearance of love, but on the presence of your own alignment. You're not afraid of the unknown anymore. In fact, something within you senses that what's coming is sacred. And it doesn't need your control to arrive. It needs your readiness. This surrender is not weakness. It is strength. It's the deepest kind of spiritual maturity. Because miracles don't bloom in clenched fists. They emerge in open hands. You're no longer waiting in fear. You're walking in faith. Faith that doesn't demand proof. Faith that doesn't panic in the silence. Faith that understands divine timing isn't a delay, it's precision. Each step you take now isn't hesitant, it's holy. Every breath you exhale is a quiet declaration that you trust life to bring what's meant for you, in the right form, at the right time. And in that surrender you become magnetic, not through force, but through flow. Not by chasing love, but by embodying it. You are no longer stuck in limbo. You are in motion. And that motion is sacred because it's rooted in trust, not in answers, but in the deeper knowing that what's yours cannot miss you. Imagine a woman who once checked her phone every hour, waiting for a message that never came. She replayed old conversations, searched for hidden meanings in silence, and followed every spiritual sign like a breadcrumb trail toward reunion. Her heart was sincere, but her spirit was exhausted. Then, one quiet morning, something shifted. She stopped reaching for her phone, not out of defeat, but out of peace. She poured her energy into her own joy, taking long walks without checking the time, laughing with friends without wondering if he was thinking of her, creating art not to distract herself, but to express the soul she had been rediscovering. She still loved him. That hadn't changed. But she no longer needed love to arrive in order to feel whole. She didn't need a timeline. She didn't need control. She trusted. And in that trust, she became powerful. She embodied a love so complete that even the unknown felt safe. Not because she had given up, but because she had come home to herself. That is the power of surrender. That is the wisdom of walking in faith. Number 4, the signs feel personal again, sacred conversations with the soul. There was a time when you lived for the signs, angel numbers appearing at just the right moment, feathers in your path, songs playing with uncanny precision. Each one felt like a divine message, a thread connecting you to something greater. They were your lifelines, your silent affirmations that the universe hadn't forgotten you. But then, as the path stretched on and silence grew louder, something changed. The signs stopped feeling magical. The synchronicities that once stirred your soul now felt like echoes of a hope you weren't sure you still believed in. You questioned everything, your intuition, your journey, your worthiness. The once enchanted world grew dimmer. But now, something subtle yet sacred is shifting. Without asking, without searching, the signs begin to return, not as desperate signals from the outside, but as quiet confirmations from within. A song comes on the radio, and instead of causing you to spiral into longing, it settles your heart with a quiet smile. A repeating number flashes before your eyes, not as proof you begged for, but as a wink from the universe. A gentle reminder that you're exactly where you're meant to be. A scent in the air, a phrase in a book, an image in a dream. They don't jolt you, they soothe you. They no longer scream, They whisper. This is no longer about chasing signs for reassurance. It's about receiving them from a place of peace. You are not grasping at the universe's sleeve, asking for confirmation. You are open, aligned, connected. There is a calm knowing inside you now, and from that stillness, the sacred language of signs becomes intimate again. They're no longer dramatic performances, they're love notes, soul-to-soul conversations, quiet reminders that your higher self is always speaking, and now, finally, you're still enough to listen. When signs feel personal again, it means something profound has happened. The veil between you and the divine has thinned. You're not asking the universe to convince you anymore. You already know. You already feel. And in that knowing, the separation you once feared dissolves. What once felt distant is now drawing near, not because you forced it, but because you finally became the version of yourself who can receive it with grace. If you've made it this far, it means something in your soul resonated deeply with these words. Take a moment to breathe that in. Has a sign recently spoken to you in a quiet, personal way? Have you noticed the shift from seeking to simply receiving? We'd love to hear your story. What sign found you when you least expected it? Share your experience in the comments below, or simply type, "I trust the whispers of my soul," as your affirmation today. Your journey is sacred, and your voice may be the mirror someone else needs to recognize their own unfolding. Number 5. You see yourself more clearly, becoming the love you've been waiting for. There comes a sacred moment on this journey, not marked by fireworks or flashing signs, but by something far more profound: quiet clarity. A moment when you stop scanning the horizon for their return. You no longer look into every stranger's eyes, hoping to see a familiar soul. You stop decoding every synchronicity or obsessing over what it all might mean. The longing that once gripped your chest begins to soften. The ache doesn't vanish because you no longer care, but because you finally started to care for yourself more. And it is in this inward gaze, this return to the self, where the miracle begins. You meet the you that was always there but so often overlooked. The you that feels deeply, loves bravely, and has evolved through every heartbreak. You begin to see your own reflection not through someone else's eyes, but through your own, gentle, proud, and whole. You cradle your tenderness with reverence. You protect the peace you fought so hard to cultivate. You no longer wait for someone to validate your worth. You know your worth. You radiate it. You become the love you once searched for in another. This is not about forgetting them. It's about remembering you. The approval you used to chase. You now generate it from within. You stop waiting to be chosen, because you've already chosen yourself. And in that powerful act of self-devotion, your energy shifts. You begin to glow, not for show, not to prove, but because truth always shines. And that light, your light, sends a quiet whisper across the ether. A vibration that reaches their soul, not with urgency, not with pleading, but with truth. And even if they can't make sense of it, they feel it, because it's real. You have come home to yourself, and in doing so, you have become the signal, the magnet, the invitation. Union does not answer desperation, it answers alignment. It is not drawn to need, but to wholeness. And when you embody the very love you once thought you had to earn, the universe does not complete you. It reflects you. Because you already are complete. You are not waiting anymore. You are becoming. And that, beloved, is the most sacred reunion of all. If you felt a quiet resonance while listening, if a line caught your breath, if your heart swelled with remembering, or if your soul whispered yes, then trust it. These aren't just words. These are reflections of your own awakening. You're not just hoping anymore, you're embodying. Every sigh of surrender, every moment you chose peace over panic, softness over spiraling, has brought you closer. Closer than your mind can measure. Closer than your fears want to admit. You're not behind. You're not delayed. You are in motion, aligned, becoming the love that was never lost, only waiting to be remembered within you. Because the truth is, home was never a destination. It was always a frequency. And now, you're tuned in. You're vibrating at the level of reunion, not because you chased it, but because you became it. The path forward isn't about proving your worth or forcing timing. It's about receiving what's already reaching for you. Your counterpart isn't far behind. They're being magnetized by your light, pulled not by desperation, but by the undeniable gravity of your peace. So if this message found you today, it wasn't by accident. It was a mirror, a reminder, a sacred invitation to trust that you're already walking the bridge between worlds. You are the threshold, and the one meant for you can already feel it.